This pattern I have not seen since the top in October. So what just happened is very similar to what happened in October that basically initiated this 50% drawdown on Bitcoin. And I do believe that that can happen again. This signal could be the actual signal, and we could be in for, again, a sub 60,000 or potentially mid 50s on Bitcoin. Here's what's happening. So if you don't know who I am, my name is 𝗏𝗏. I do these updates every single day. I share with you what I do with my own money so you can follow along. Subscribe to the channel, join 40,105 subscribers, and join in the Telegram. It's a channel, it's free. So I shared my longs, and I said I'm closing my long positions basically in break even. And the reason why I closed them was because I looked at the chart. It was this episode here, something is wrong with my Bitcoin trade. I was long Bitcoin, and the reason why I closed is because if I looked at this this little liquidity here, posted it in the Telegram channel as well, and I said this liquidity is most likely going to be taken. So this was that liquidity, and then eventually, obviously, as it was expected, came down 5% from there. But against all odds, there seems to be a V-shaped recovery. Now, this might not actually go through and have a V-shape, but I want to give you all the scenarios. Number one, I am short. I told you I gave you this short, so I am down about 3.8% on this trade. I'm not happy about it because I was expecting this to reject way sooner, but it seems like, you know, it seems like that it does have strength, obviously. So, but let me look at this. So what happened is the following. If you go back, if you've been following the channel long enough, you know this, but I basically called the top, the Pico top here. And the reason why I was able to call it is because a very simple market structure shift setup on the daily chart. Basically what it does is there is a close above there. There is a close above there. There is a, let me just do this. There is an immediate close below here from the level that caused that. Even though it's a wick, pay attention, even though it's a wick, that's fine. Market structure shift. And then from there on, there is a 50% retrace. And after a 50% retrace, there is continuation lower, basically the initiation of the entire move. Now, if I look at this, right, and I take this pattern on the daily chart, and I put this on here. Now, it can be smaller, so I can make it smaller, obviously, and I can put it on here. This is basically what we see now. It's basically the same setup. Why? Because I can just drag this out. Look at this. It's basically the same. It's basically the same pattern that resulted in the massive crash, basically at the top of the market. So you see another low form, which is basically down here. You see another high form, which is this, and then you see so to say an immediate or very soon dump that results in a wick. That is what we've seen back in October as well. From there on, there is a 50% recovery, which is even almost the same size here. Look at this. It's almost the same way. Comes back to 50 and then rejects. So ultimately, here's what I think is happening. If you go down onto the 4-hour chart and you see this level, the low down here that I said shouldn't be broken, 47,780, every single time frame, 1 hour close below, 4 hour close below, 8 hour close below, 12 hour close below, and there is a wick on the daily chart. So this is a very strong indication that there is going to be the reversal to sub 60 happening. If I look at the higher time frame and I say this should come back to the 50, that would result in a 4-hour market structure shift to the upside V-shaped recovery, which would mean, and I know I'm blowing your brain out here, so bear with me here, which would mean that this is a long position. But you can't long it because the daily chart is just screaming at you and telling you that we're going sub 60,000. It is just what it's doing. So I have multiple plays here that I want to keep track of, and this is why it's worth joining in the Telegram. I'm going to share whenever I see something happen. But one thing, I'm going to stick with this trade. And the reason why I will is because this is a 4-hour lag. I mean, this is a very strong imbalance, very, very strong fair value gaps all the way down here. At least 3, but rather 4 consecutive candles to the upside, meaning this level here should be a very, very, very strong high. That is a V-shaped recovery into that order block on the lower time frame. I need to see a 15-minute market structure shift, which currently stands at around down here at around 76,990. And if I see that, that is basically a confirmation. I'm gonna add to my short positions, but also open scalp short positions to see this basic setup play out. But the idea here didn't change. I do believe we are going lower, and now we do have the same confirmation as we had again back in October. So ultimately, few scenarios. One, we reject. I think this is the most likely scenario because this is a very strong 4-hour lag. I think we should hold. This should show a 15-minute market structure shift. Once that does, stop loss up here, another scalp position. I'm going to share it in a Telegram link on top of the description and on top of the comments, and then just ride it all the way down. But if I look at the daily and I analyze the October top that we've seen up here, or even this, by the way, you can even analyze this. It's the exact same scenario. Every single top has been marked like this. Every single beginning of the continuation. Same scenario. Same fucking scenario. But there was no 50% retrace here. So what could happen if there is a 50% retrace that gets me stubbed, so it can happen that this goes all the way up here. And when that happens, I want to start getting into a position with a stop loss up here because I do believe that this is the top and that we are not going to go higher. Now, what happens with the 4-hour V-shaped recovery that I was talking about and potentially getting long and all that? Well, here's what I think I will do. If we do have a 4-hour close above here, I am going to wait for a 50% retrace on the 4-hour leg and a higher high on the 15-minute. I will need to take all the confirmations and it has to be a textbook long setup for me to take a long position. I know I said that I want to long and I do, but it just goes against everything I see. So ultimately, I am going to ride this trade out. If I get stubbed, I'm not going to get in and jump in and be, panicky. I will wait for a 50% retrace to happen around 78,900. Once that happens, I'm going to wait for a 15-minute market structure shift, get in on the 15-minute, put my stop loss up here above the 4-hour 82,800, and then simply ride it all the way down to sub 60,000. I do believe that sub 60 is happening, and that would mean, let me just look at this, that would basically put Bitcoin down here, all the way down here. All this, in my opinion, will be taken, and that means that we're looking at a 22% move. So all the stop losses I've been taking for the past month, which I'm not happy about it. I have a little bit of a drawdown here, which I didn't have for a long time. I'm not happy about it, but I think it will come to fruition. And if we see, again, and if it starts the pullback and we see a reversal from the 50%, I mean, well, then be it. Then I'm just going to long the 15-minute, put a stop loss down here and run it in a hedge, and then we'll see how that goes. TLDR, again, the same pattern played out. Right now that played out back in October when I called the top, and that pattern is basically a close above there in a market structure shift on the daily. If I go down here and I zoom that in to the same scale, you see a pretty similar setup playing out. There is a lot. Let me just zoom this out here, by the way. Yes. Very similar pattern playing out on the daily chart. Just pull it on the daily. So on the daily chart, there is a little bit of a dip here marking a new low, a new push to highs, and then an immediate reversal with a wick below. It's very important that there is a wick below. There was no close below on the first time, and then a 50% retrace. That's the exact same thing that we're seeing now. Let me just revert everything here. We're seeing the exact same pattern play out. There is a daily new low marked here. Then there is with 3 consecutive candles. Then there is a new high formed, and then there is a wick here, meaning I do believe that we're going to come back either to the 50% and reject from there, or just reject from this 4-hour order block. And I do believe that that is going to be it, and sub 60 is incoming. We'll see. Subscribe to the channel. Come back for another one tomorrow. Yeah, much love. Join in the Telegram. I'll see you. Take care.